Hello guys, today we're going to talk about the movie Black Adam. Now, this movie's technically in theaters, but me and my family, we watched it at home just because I had the option, and, you know, it's whatever. It's funny, I remember in high school, like 2012-ish, where it was first announced that Dwayne Johnson was going to play Black Adam in the Black Adam movie, and it took about 10 years for them to get going at it, but they did. It's funny. I keep seeing these articles growing up about it, and it was kind of one of those things where people weren't sure if it was gonna fall through or not, because there was a lot of projects that were announced but never went through, like Channing Tatum playing Gambit, or Jason Momoa doing The Crow. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff like that, and it's kind of funny. I don't see it as much anymore. Usually when people make announcements nowadays, usually it's kind of a done deal. It's usually when they are full on dead set. So this is kind of an odd thing, and a lot of that has to do with really Dwayne's pull and all that, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's talk about the movie first here. This thing came out this year. It's rated PG-13. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes long. It has a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb with 150,000-ish user votes. It's directed by Khalid Sierra. Can't pronounce the first name. Khalid Sierra. And let's see, what else did he do? Oh, he also did Unknown from Unknown. He also did Orphan. He actually did a couple movies I've seen and I like, so that's pretty cool. Of course, the movie stars Dwayne Johnson as, Black Adam. And of course we know him. Oh my god, he's been in a cajillion things. Do I even have to say it? Say any of them? I'll just the rundown. There you go. There's one. Also, Pierce Brosnan's also in it. He played James Bond in some James Bond movies as well. Let's see. Wait for loading on Rotten Tomatoes. The movie got 39% by critics, with 282 critics, and 89% by audience, is about 5,000-ish audience people. The critics' consensus is Black Adam may end up pointing the way to an exciting future for DC films, but as a standalone experience, it's a widely uneven letdown. The audience says, with lots of action, solid effects, and a story you don't have to be a comics fan to follow, Black Adam is one of the best DC movies to date. Interesting. Difference of opinion there. Alright, so streaming-wise, the movie is available to rent and buy on Apple TV, Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, Vudu, Microsoft Store, Redbox, DirecTV, AMC On Demand, and is available to rent only on Charter Spectrum. And the movie is going to be out on DVD in 2023, January of 2023. So I'm a big Shazam guy. Even before the movies, growing up, I always was into, like, Captain Marvel, Shazam. He's one of my personal favorites. So it was pretty cool when Shazam came out. I reviewed that on the channel eons ago. I was really happy about it. It was a really good, solid film. This film is, I wouldn't even call this film an interesting film. I don't know if it's like, if you call it good or bad. I'm not sure. Because here's the thing. The tone is only, here's the thing. The film, the problem, the only real issue I have with this film is the tone. Because when it starts, it throws a lot at you all at once with the tone, up and down, seriousness, humor, and you weren't quite sure what the movie really, but right after the 20-minute mark, the identity solidifies in its consistent sense. It's kind of weird, but Black Adam's never been covered before on a movie or really anything, especially as a solo guy, because Black Adam, when he first came out, was a villain, a legit bad guy. A legit bad guy against Shazam. But over time, through different interpretations, became more of an anti-hero. This film goes the anti-hero route, which I kind of like. And I have to say, like, there are some pretty good twists in this story. twists and turns in the story. Like, there's one I didn't see coming towards the end that I thought was actually really clever and really well done. And yeah, man, it's one of those movies, because I just watched, it's one of those movies that hard to me to pinpoint specific problems with. I guess I will say this, I feel like maybe some of the extra superheroes in the movie, some of their powers and designs may feel copycat-ish, but you also have to keep in mind that these DC heroes, they came out way before the Marvel stuff, ever. So, if anything, Marvel copied from them in the from comics, but in movies it's kind of reversed, because Marvel got the jump start. So, some of those characters end up kind of looking copy-ish, which isn't the case. I have to say, though, like, this movie went for, like, there's a lot of movies that try to put in the big stakes all in one movie, and it just doesn't, it just comes across as mess sometimes. This one gets away with it a little bit. I think a good thing is, I will say this, the character relationships in this film are pretty strong. And for doing it, and for one movie, I felt like they handled the relationships between all the characters really well. And they did a good job conveying that these characters, they kind of know each other. They've been around the block. You know, they have that. A lot of that's a testament to the actors. Because the writing's not bad. There's some good jokes, there's some twists and turns, but it's not consistent in the beginning. It does get consistent about a fifth or a quarter of the way in. So it doesn't take too long, but it does take you a little bit. I do love this film. This film legit does make connections to other DC stuff. Like, they bring in some characters every little bit that you would recognize from other DC films. So this film is legit trying to there's a good balance to this film of bringing in new stuff and kind of keeping the older stuff relevant. So you can tell that and I have done some reading, and apparently a big aim, especially from Dwayne Johnson's perspective, is that this film kind of serves as a soft relaunch of the DC. Like, he wants this film to kind of be the Iron Man of DC, the movie of DC, to kind of relaunch it a little bit. I'm like, I don't really see that in this film for me, but I can tell this movie gets away with a lot of violence. I'm just gonna say that they get away a lot of graphic shit for a PG-13 movie, and I like that. It's been a long time since a PG-13 movie tried to push the boundaries a bit, and I have noticed over the years that Marvel started to get a little bit of courage in pushing it a little bit, and I like that. Because PG-13 is PG-13. Most 13-year-olds that at least I know of, at least when I grew up as a 13-year-old, I remember when I grew up, we could handle a lot of shit. There wasn't a lot we couldn't handle with our fragile little minds. Because trust me, even at 13, a lot of kids, they're ready. They're ready to see kind of the more grown-up stuff in films. And I'm kind of glad to see them do that. I think the biggest reason why critics kind of were more negative on this, because there was a build-up of this movie. The fact that Dwayne Johnson's been teasing this movie for almost a decade, and it's been in the subconscious forever. So I felt like they kind of let the expectations build up for them. Now, audiences, I don't know. I feel like with audiences, I think it worked better with audiences because it was fresh. And in all honesty, I think they were more than happy to see it. And this film's done well enough. Like, I have zero issue with this movie whatsoever. Like, I think if I was going to change anything in this film, I will say this, even though the dialogue isn't god-awful, there are moments where I think I would tweak it a little bit to kind of make it a little smooth, because there are times where I felt like certain specific, kind of minor but still major characters, some of the dialogue, I felt like if I just tweaked it slightly, I think it would make them a little bit more well-rounded. I kind of would have done that with some of that, but I do like this film. I think it does a good job of showing off Black Adam. It definitely feels like a Black Adam movie, for sure, without... and the other characters are in this, they're there and they do their purpose and they do good with it, but they don't overshoot it. You never forget it's a Black Adam film. I don't know, yeah, the famous mid-credits scene. And I'm not going to say who it is, even though at this point everyone probably does, but for the sake of just consistency with trying to keep things spoiler-free in my videos for the most part, I won't say. But it's a pretty significant mid-credits scene. It could lead to interesting stuff in the future for DC stuff. But overall, this is a solid film. I do recommend checking it out. But yeah, Black Panther's one I really want to see in theaters. It's been so busy. But I'll get to that when I do that video or whatever. But yeah, they're gonna do some Christmas movies here this month, and then after this month, I'm gonna be taking another break from Fenn Recommends for a bit. I do want to do a couple extra vlog stuff before the year ends, just to ensure that we got something in for the year. Don't want to take more than a year in between stuff. That just doesn't always sit well with me. But yeah, overall, this is a solid movie. Definitely recommend checking it out. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. In case you want to chat with anyone at the Campy Company, you don't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. First one is we have a Discord channel. You can find a link to that in the About page / About section of our channel. We also have a community tab in our channel as well. You can access that anywhere at any time. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.